this. And I'm going to close out data set A so that we can move on to another example in data B. And again, I'm going to open the corrected version. That's the one we've been working with. And in this one, we're going to make a chart comparing student achievement data on this assessment based on race. This time I'm going to make it in this spreadsheet. So I'm not going to copy and paste our data to a brand new spreadsheet. Instead, I'm going to do it right here so you can see what that looks like. There's a lot of information in this spreadsheet, so I'm going to start by highlighting the data that I want to be presented in my chart. I'm going to head up to the menu bar, select Insert. Again, because I'm comparing two or more things, I'm going to select Column Chart. Let's do a 3D column chart in this one. And there it is. As soon as I select which chart I want, it pops right into my spreadsheet. I have the option of choosing colors again, change this into orange. And you can go ahead and drag this down. Scroll down so that we can see it. We have our chart. Again, this series, we don't need that, so we can delete it to spread it out a little bit more. Right now, we don't have labels on the horizontal axis. However, we do have information about what each bar means. We have that information because we had it input in our spreadsheet over here. We highlighted it, so automatically included it in our chart. In order to add labels, we're going to click on our chart. We're going to select Layout. Again, we see a bunch of options, and you can play around with all of these. I'm showing you the simplest ones in order to make the most basic chart. These are really the only ones that you need to know. Click Chart Title. Centered Overlay is going to put it right on top of that chart. I'm going to enter, and you can move that around as you can see. I'm going to enter Student Achievement Data as my title. You might want to be more specific as to what exact student achievement data you're looking at. If I want to move it, I'm just going to click on the edges here and drag it over. If I want to add my axis titles, I'm going to choose either my horizontal axis or my vertical. I can add a horizontal one. It says student. Click on that and say student race. And as you'll see, this seems a bit redundant because right above that, it's pretty obvious that we're looking at student race. However, if you feel like that's necessary or important to clarify your chart, that's how you would do that. And then the vertical axis, several options. Rotated, we're going to say Social Studies, 8th grade, EOG, end of grade test. There we go. This is a basic chart representing our data. Again, you can select the chart, right-click, select the whole chart, right-click, and select Copy. And you can then move this chart to either Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, either one, in order to present it in whichever format you're going to be using. So I'm going to close out data set B. I'm going to save my changes. Great, and we're going to go ahead and look at our last example. And this one is data C. We've now looked at the bar graph or the column graph twice, so this time we're going to take a look at a different graph. Now in this one, we've broken down our data by class 1, 2, 3, and 4. The reason we can use a different graph for this set of data is because while we are comparing them side by side, so we could use a column graph, it could also be helpful for us to compare throughout the course of a day or over time. So class 1 we can assume is earlier in the day, class 1 is later in the day, 3 is later, and 4 is at the end of the day. So this could be a good chance for us to look at a line graph and compare throughout the course of a day what our student achievement looks like. So for this one, I am going to copy and paste it into a new spreadsheet like we did with data A, just to show you this example again. Choose a blank workbook. I'm going to right-click and paste my data. So I have my basic student achievement data in this new workbook. Now in order to create a chart, I'm going to highlight all of the data that I want to appear in that chart, including the labels. I'm going to insert, and rather than select a column this time, we're going to select a line. And again, we see several different ways of presenting that, either in a 2D line or 3D. I'm going to choose this 2D line. And again, it's pretty simple because we're just looking at 4 pieces of data. You can move this around within the spreadsheet. And we see here a great visual representation of student mastery declining throughout the course of a day. Okay? This may or may not be the trend. You might find that your student achievement results go up later in the day. Students are more awake, more energized. You've practiced your lesson 2 or 3 times, so the third or fourth time around tends to be a little bit better. At least that's what I found in my class. So this could be an interesting way to compare what your student achievement looks like throughout the course of the day. So now one more opportunity to look at formatting this chart. Again, series is unnecessary, so we're going to delete that. Right now it is pretty self-explanatory, but it could be helpful for us to add layout, a chart title, center overlay. I prefer the above chart. There we go. Student achievement throughout the day. Again, you can call this whatever you think makes the most sense. I'm just making up titles here. We're going to add axis titles, horizontal axis, which is the x-axis. We're looking at class periods. Now this one you might want to add a descriptor because class can mean several different things, and so if we just say, if we just leave that without a label, it's not quite so clear. Class 1, class 2, class 3, what does this class mean? You could add class periods so that they know it's throughout the day. Then again, you can add a vertical axis title. This would be on the y-axis, and this could explain exactly what these percentages are representing. Student achievement, final assessment. And then whoever is viewing your chart, again, you can move these around, knows exactly what they're looking at, okay, and what these numbers mean. Similar to the last 2 examples, you can click on this chart, right-click, copy it, and then you can go ahead and paste it into either Microsoft Word, where you might have a written document, or in PowerPoint, where you might have a presentation. Okay? So now that we've taken a look at creating the charts, now is a great time to stop this video, open up your student achievement data, which at this point should be organized correctly. You should have been able to use filters and formulas to summarize specific groups of student achievement data. And now you want to move on to the last step, where you should be able to select and manipulate appropriate data that you would like displayed in a chart, and teachers will be able to create and format charts to most appropriately display your selected data. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment on this online module with any of your questions, and answers will hopefully be posted by either some of your classmates or myself.